update them. But my name is Bridget Legault. I'm the community manager with Rainforest Alberta. Why are those two words in one phrase? Well, Rainforest Alberta is based on an analogy that rainforests are like innovation ecosystems. And I won't go into the depths of the analogy. There's a very in-depth book about it called Rainforest Building the Next Silicon Valley. And you're more than welcome to look that up. Jade wanted to say hi to everybody. So more about that in just a moment in our video. We do host this hour every Wednesday from 12 until 1 for innovators, doers, dreamers, connectors, and builders such as yourselves, and those as well who work in the entrepreneurship world and or support entrepreneurs, though everyone is welcome to join us every Wednesday at noon. We generally do this virtually, though we're starting to be more in person around the city. So if you follow our social media, which the tags are there, you'll get all sorts of updates about what we're up to. We base our whole movement on a social contract, and you'll hear a bit more about that in the video to come. So if we could advance the slides. And Al, if you could cue their audio. What an experiment. Hit the video, Amber.
What does it take to realize an idea? Or for a seed to sprout? At Rainforest Alberta, we know the answer is rooted in trust. Traditionally, Albertans have cultivated their ideas in established systems. Inputs that don't fit these systems are weeded out. Opportunities for growth are missed. But now, Albertans want a dynamic landscape that can evolve organically, like a rainforest. At Rainforest Alberta, we believe a culture of trust is the fertile soil where ideas grow. Our budding innovation ecosystem is a network of relationships pulling each other up as they push forward in their own field. Trust breaks down barriers. An open, inclusive network increases collaborative innovation. Successful breakthroughs inspire new ideas. A cycle begins. Rainforest Alberta is a movement to amplify trust by cultivating honesty, inclusion, and accountability. How? Our social contract holds us accountable to demonstrate trust across the province. We meet to have honest conversations around collaboration. This leads to more inclusive spaces for everyone to fearlessly build new ideas together. By raising the standard of trust, Alberta's ideas, talent, and resources can be evergreen. Visit rainforestab.ca to sign the social contract and start growing together.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Amber. This is going to get really interesting. Okay, super tech challenges for those who have just walked in. We're Rainforest Alberta. We host this special hour of connection every Wednesday from 12 until 1. We just went through kind of what Rainforest Alberta means, but please check out our website if you missed that. We work primarily in the innovation and tech sector, and we believe that the ecosystem, which we call our innovation ecosystem, is built of these 6 pillars. Culture and leadership are the heaviest weighted pillars for what I feel are obvious reasons, but it's really the heart and soul of the community. It's all about trust. It's all about collaboration and hearing diverse perspectives, which I think really align with the work that's happening today. For those of you on Zoom, we are at the mental health event being hosted by Community Now magazine, and we've been inspired all morning by stories of vulnerability, of trust, and of being really open and transparent, which could not be more aligned with the rainforest analogy. So these pillars here we measure every year through an assessment called the scorecard assessment. It's essentially a survey that gets sent out to the entire innovation and technology community. Anyone who touches that community in any way, shape, or form is welcome to fill it out. And we'll be running that in early January. So you're welcome to check that out or come chat with me after if you're curious about it. So we'll go to the next slide quickly. Today, if you've just walked in, we are experimenting with this hybrid event, and it's been a little tricky with audio and visual, but for those and that's what all the chatter you see in the Zoom or in the chat there is making fun of us. So we're just being vulnerable. For those of you on Zoom, you know what to do. Unless it's your first time, then a very warm welcome to the rainforest. And for those in the room, who it's your first time, a very warm welcome. Generally, we like to introduce ourselves, have time to connect, and we'll do that after we eat our soup here and after we chat virtually online. But if you're online, show yourselves in the chat. Be aware that the chat is visible to everybody here at this event. So share what you do there and we can all see. If you're on Zoom, make sure to connect with people through direct messages. If you're here in person, then obviously shake some hands and get to know some folks that maybe you don't know. And on the virtual side, we'll ask people to throw their cameras on. Today, this is funny because this point is what we're here to talk about today, is asking questions, being vulnerable, sharing our curiosities, and being generous with others' curiosities. And I'm going to turn it over shortly to a founder in the tech sector who's built a platform all around curiosity and generosity. And we are piloting their platform here in Calgary, and you'll all be invited onto it today. We do also have a Slack workspace where we do some chit chat as well, though we're really shifting things over to inqli, which is the platform we'll talk about. But within our Slack, this chat is captured for any resources in there that you want to check on later. And if you want to know how to get to our Slack, we'll get there in a moment. These are also recorded and put on our YouTube channel. So if you're online and you don't want to be on that recording, please, turn your camera off, change your name, whatever you'd like to do. So we'll go to the next slide. And I just want to talk for a very brief minute about the Rainforest Social Contract. So how we build this culture of trust and collaboration and diversity is by all agreeing to live by these 10 tenets that you see here on the stage. It might be difficult to see from your seat, but come down and have a look or check it out on our website. This QR code will take you directly to that social contract. So if you touch the innovation, entrepreneurship, technology world in any way, shape, or form, even if you're just curious, we have a lot of curious Calgarians. Tech is a very thriving, energetic industry right now in our province. If you're in it, you really feel that. And you may start to be hearing, rumblings of this in the news and elsewhere. If you're curious at all, this is where you can really find resources, get in the know with what's going on in this sector. And again, the rainforest movement exists to move away from the traditional corporate culture that we all know and personally hate, and towards one of collaboration, of opening up your ideas to others so that we can collaborate and work together. So this is one of the tenets of the social contract, and I thought we'd share it here today, which is all about sharing. It's all about being vulnerable, opening yourself to others, which we're talking about here today. It's all about being eager to learn yourself and sharing your knowledge, but not in that way where you're trying to stand on a pedestal or a soapbox and do that. It's really to share your knowledge in a way that's genuinely going to nurture others. So this is what we work, live, and play by in the innovation sector. And we just want to spread that vibe and that culture throughout all of Calgary and hope that you join us in this movement. So we'll go to the next slide quickly. And Rebecca, I hope you don't mind me doing this, but I am just going to stick this QR code in advance so people can get a head start. Today we have Rebecca, who is from Victoria, though born and raised Albertan, and very heavily involved in our innovation ecosystem here in Calgary. That is why she's on Zoom and not with us, though. She's in Victoria today. She is going to walk us through this platform and how it works, and you'll be able to experience the power of demonstrating curiosity and generosity in this new digital way. So scan this code, fill out your name and your email address, and just watch your inbox because you'll get sent the link. The reason we don't have you just hop on the platform is because we do just want to have some sort of gatekeeping so we don't end up with kind of bad apples in and on the platform. So fill out the form and watch your inbox for a link to be sent while Rebecca takes over here. We're also, because the audio issues, I think we'll just turn all facilitation over to Rebecca. She is going to cue us to practice some question creation. And if you need paper or pen or somewhere to jot down your questions, I have some down here. So just raise your hand and I'll run some up to you. Does that sound okay, Rebecca? Okay, I'm gonna mute so we don't have the feedback.
I'll unmute. Sounds great. Can everybody hear me okay? Can we get a thumbs up? We're good? Yeah, you're okay on your end, Bridget? Okay, awesome. I will try not to yell. I will keep it toned down for everybody. Hello, everyone. There's definitely some familiar faces here and also some folks I have not had the pleasure of meeting. So my name is Rebecca Kirstine Rush, and I am, as mentioned, the founder and CEO of inqli. And so we're really excited to be here today and to be launching this pilot in partnership with Rainforest Alberta. I myself am an Albertan, so is my husband and co-founder of inqli. And so Alberta and Albertans are very close to our hearts. Lots of our family and friends still in Alberta, and all of our early innovation partnerships, our investors in inqli, our customers, our partners, Rainforest Alberta, Inception U. We have had such a warm welcome from the Alberta innovation ecosystem. So it's such a pleasure for us to be launching this pilot with Rainforest Alberta in particular. You'll notice as we sort of go through this, this next part of the presentation, how absolutely perfect of a partnership this really is, because all of our ethos and beliefs around how we build ecosystems that include anyone and everyone who wants to participate, we're just all kind of cut from the same cloth in that respect. And it's just incredibly exciting for us to be part of this ecosystem, because it has been such a tremendous part of our journey and our growth at inqli, and certainly mine as a first-time CEO of a technology company. I could not do what I do without the support of the Alberta ecosystem, and I'm super grateful for it. So very excited to be here. And with that, I'll kind of launch into our presentation here today. I'm going to share my screen, so we'll make sure everybody can see what's happening here. Everybody can see my screen okay? Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, excellent. So we're just going to do a little bit of an overview. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you before I tell you. So our agenda for today, we're just going to do an overview of the pilot. I'm going to show you a demo of the platform. We're going to set up and dig into some question asking skills and experience together, and hopefully join the platform and ask a question for those of you that are able to and want to. And then we're going to just talk a little bit about how you can help connect more people in the innovation ecosystem. So as mentioned earlier, Rainforest focuses on 6 main areas of the innovation ecosystem. And part of what we're so excited about is that while we kind of consider ourselves part of the infrastructure layer, in that technology is so critical to make sure that everyone has equitable access to the opportunities in the system, we also focus a lot on culture, on leadership, on developing role models and engaged activities, and sharing widely the resources that are available. So as I mentioned, you can see exactly why this is such a great partnership, and why we're excited to help realize this vision with Rainforest. So inqli at its core is an inclusive knowledge sharing platform that is built on curiosity and generosity. And this is such a critical core component of what this platform is for. It is for everyone to have the opportunity to safely join a space, ask questions, be vulnerable, ask for what they need, ask for help. And I think everyone we can all agree, especially those who are at this mental health event today that I'm super bummed to be missing out on, having conversations about vulnerability and trust. It is so important that we have safe digital spaces for that vulnerability and trust to show up. And that's really what inqli is built on. So inqli supports the Rainforest pillars in a variety of ways. Resources are incredibly important, and getting resources and equitable access to those resources often come from the unique human perspectives. And this is the stuff you just can't Google. You don't know what you don't know. And that connectivity to people in the community is so important. And of course, culture, inqli is matching people based on their questions to create those unlikely collisions where diverse perspectives come together, and we can all foster a culture of curious and generous inquiry together. And then of course, leaders, anyone can ask and reply on inqli, anyone can step into leadership. So creating new and equitable opportunities for all members of the community to step into leadership. And then engaged activities. So inqli matches community users to share knowledge and opportunities with each other, increasing community connectedness and innovation as a practice. And so we really invite you to be a part of this practice with us today. So how does inqli work? Anyone can ask a question. We will match those questions. Our technology is built on natural language processing. So the ability to match people to diverse perspectives who are well suited to respond to your question is such a critical missing piece in all innovation ecosystems today, is how we can put the power in the hands of every individual to be able to navigate that system based on their individual needs is such a missing piece right now, that we all have to know everyone and everything about the ecosystem to be able to guide innovators, entrepreneurs, students, founders, funders, et cetera, through the community. We're all in a different place. We all have different needs, and this matching is so critical to that. And then, of course, the reply. We guide people through the process of providing an inclusive and well-resourced reply to the questions asked on the platform. So we make knowledge sharing really, really easy. We make it easy to gather multiple diverse perspectives and learn from diverse individuals in the community and their perspectives. We have easy matching happens on the platform. You don't need to know who to ask. This is incredibly important for newcomers to the community in particular, but for us all. We are automatically matching the questions to the right repliers, people who have the knowledge and resources to respond to your questions. And then, of course, resources. We are creating that durable resource so that everyone can see and benefit from shared knowledge. So this is public knowledge sharing within the rainforest community, so that your question, if you have a question, chances are many other people have the same question that you do, and creating those diverse, different perspectives and being able to match to those perspectives is such an incredible part of the platform that we're really excited about, because it can really shortcut your time to finding what you need when you need it. And that's a really exciting opportunity for us to explore this with the rainforest community. So with that, I'm going to switch screens here and stop sharing and jump over to a live demo. So give me 1 second here. And I'm just going to share with you the inqli platform. So here we are. This is really exciting to me to be able to demo this platform live to you, because I am an actual user in this community. I am a member of the platform and of the rainforest community. I have signed a social contract, and actually part of what's so exciting about this for me is that I read the Rainforest book many years ago, and was really excited by the ideas put forth in that book, and have been working on that in BC and in other parts of the country as well. So joining the rainforest community and actually really seeing those pillars put to work in a meaningful way. I don't think anybody in the entirety of Canada does this work the way that Rainforest Alberta does. So it's really exciting to be jumping into this together. So we are actually looking at this through the lens of my profile. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So this is me. So when you log in, you will go through the process of the setting up your profile. And so you'll see I've added a picture here, and yes, I don't look this glamorous today. Hair and makeup does wonderful things. So I have my title in here. You'll also see this about me section. We don't need a ton of information about you. Feel free to reuse a bio or profile from elsewhere, or also just type in a few sentences. The beauty of NLP and matching is that we don't need a lot of information to be able to accurately match you to questions that are well suited for you. We're also going to ask you to enter in your skills, which is what you're good at, your interests here as well via tags, and then purpose, what matters to you. And that's really intended to sort of broadcast to the community the things that you care about, the things that you're interested in talking about. And then you'll see questions here that are linked to my profile. So these are questions that I've asked that are on the platform. So that's my question right there. And so with that, I'll just take you back over to the Curiosity feed. And I'll just make a note here that you will see in logging in, you can log in through the web portal. And once you do, you can also download our apps on the App Store. So you can download both iOS and Android apps and take inqli everywhere, take the rainforest with you everywhere you go, and be able to ask questions and reply to questions on the go as well. And so these are examples of the types of questions that are being asked in the community. So I'm just going to show you what asking a question looks like first of all. So this is the question builder, as we call it. So we ask you to enter in a title. We ask you to provide some additional details to your question. If you're having any trouble thinking of questions, forming questions, we have a whole bunch of resources when you click here that'll help generate some ideas for you and hopefully help you ask that question. And then we ask you to tag your question with instruction or advice. And the reason that we do that is because we actually route these questions differently. There are some questions where we're just looking for specific information and resources where one reply is probably enough. But a lot of the questions we see being asked in the community are more of these advice questions. I'm looking for diverse perspectives, and we are matching those to many more people within the ecosystem because the asker is looking for perspective, not just a specific resource or a specific piece of content. So it's really important so that we don't sort of annoy people with questions that are simple to reply to, that require one answer, and others that really require diverse perspective. We want to be matching broadly within the community. And then you can add tags to your question here for better matches. So the reason I'm not actually going through this process of showing you is because this is live. This is the real community. So I don't want to put a demo question in there. But once you ask your question, that question goes out into the community and it gets matched to any number of users. So you'll see here, I don't actually have matches today because I've already gone in and looked at my matches. But what you'll see here is matching cards of the question itself, and you can scroll through, and it's very Tinder-like, where you can swipe right on supporting people in your community, and you can also bookmark questions for later, and questions that just aren't particularly interesting to you or you don't feel well suited to reply to. You can just swipe past those questions because there will be other people in the community that can respond to those questions. So we're really trying to make sure, unlike Slack communities and other tools that we use in this way, we're really trying to make sure that people are being matched to questions that they're excited to respond to, that they have the resources and knowledge to respond to, so that we don't all have to keep our eyes on many Slack channels of all the communities we're a part of, but instead we can just respond to what is interesting to us, what we're excited to respond to, and we are not necessarily having to spend a bunch of time doing that. You'll be notified by mobile notifications, you'll be notified by email, and you'll just know when those questions are well suited to you, and when you have time and desire to respond, you can do so. So I'll give you a quick view of what this looks like. This was actually a question asked by LWOL the other day that I responded to. So you'll see the details of his question. You'll see who asked the question, and you'll notice here that I replied to that question. So what that looks like when I want to reply to a question, of course, I'm doing a demo, so my reply button is, there we go. So the reply popped up. And so this is what we call the reply builder. It just guides you through the process. You'd be surprised at how many people in all of our early testing said, I don't really know how to do this. I don't know how to share my knowledge and know that I'm doing a good job of providing a well-resourced reply. So we really built this with early users who were everything from students to funders to investors to founders and everywhere in between. Providing a greeting is a really important way to welcome and include people in the community. Providing your advice or instruction based on what the user asked for and noticing what the user asked for. And then, of course, backing that up with resources. You can actually add resources from any links anywhere on the web. And that's a really important component that we saw, that when we didn't ask people to add resources, they very often did not. And once we ask people to add resources that back up their advice, most people recognize, oh, I've got an article, or I've got some content, or some instructions that are much deeper than the advice I'm providing. And I can just provide that link here. And this is something that's really common knowledge to me, but the person receiving the advice on the other side of the equation might have no idea what your advice specifically relates to, or where to find content to support that advice. And you can provide it directly within the reply builder for them. And you can also ask follow-up questions, dig a little deeper, engage in a deeper conversation. And so you'll see here, I replied to Al's question, which happened to be about sponsorship. I do not work in the sponsorship field right now, but I did for many years. And so again, being able to match to people who have experience that we may never otherwise know. I'm pretty sure most people who know me in the Alberta innovation ecosystem have no idea that I have a background in corporate sponsorship, because it's not an area I work in anymore, but something I could provide valuable advice and provide resources to other sources of great resources for the asker. And so I've responded to that question here, and hopefully that will be really helpful to Al. So just to give you an example of what that all looks like, this is the general functionality of inqli's platform. If you have a question, you can also search and find other questions that were asked. Again, the public nature of the community is so important. A, people behave really well when they're in a public community. B, we're actually all able to access from the learning and knowledge being shared between others. And it also piques our own curiosity. When we can see the learning that's happening for others, it actually provokes our own questioning that may be very different from what our questioning was when we came to the platform. And so being able to search for content is really, really important as well. So you can search for your question before you ask it to see if there's knowledge there already. And if you don't find what you're looking for, you can just ask away and know that others are going to learn from your learning as well. And you'll see there's notifications here up in the corner. You'll be notified as well when people reply to your questions or when there are questions that you can reply to. So with that, I'm going to just stop this share and pop back over to my slides. Any questions so far from the crew? Anything in chat? I can't see the chat, so please yell at me if there are questions in the chat that are popping up. All good so far? Okay, excellent. So we're just going to go through this quickly because I think most people have either already received an email. So if you've received an email that says you're in, Rainforest has invited you, then you're great. And you can proceed to number 2 here and follow those instructions if you haven't already. And if you did not receive an email, again, here's that QR code. You can scan this and make sure that you get an invitation to join the inqli and Rainforest community. And you can go through the process of signing up. Have most people signed up? Bridget, Amber, you want to give me a thumbs up that most people have, because I don't want to bore everybody going through the steps if everybody's already done that.
Rebecca, are you able to go back to the barcode?
Yeah, absolutely.
For people to scan it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm going to talk you through these steps because we're actually going to do some fun ideating on questions together. And so if everybody's actually in the inqli, the rainforest instance of inqli, sorry, I've been talking too much today, so like my own voice is annoying me. I hope it's not annoying you.
No, it's not.
Like tripping over my words. It's one of those days.
We love hearing you talk.
Thanks, Amber. You're always so supportive. I talk for a living, so I get really tired of my own voice. I'm sure there's people in this crowd that can relate to that. Are we, everybody's had a chance to scan? Who wanted to scan? Thumbs up. We're good? Okay, awesome. So you'll sign into inqli on your desktop. It is, you have to sign in on your desktop and then go download apps in the App Store. So Rainforest, which of course you can do this on your phone on web as well. It's just not as good of an experience as if you download the apps. So you want to do that right away if you're going to be using it on mobile. So you go to rainforest.inqli.com. This is your community's domain. And then we've made an account for you. So you'll need to set a password. So click the sign in and then first time user. And then you'll go through the process of building a profile. So for those of you that have not done that yet, don't worry, you can come back and edit this later, but put in a few sentences, describe what you're interested in, what you do, what you care about in the community. It doesn't have to be super long. Copy and paste from LinkedIn if you prefer to do that. And then know that you are actually the first people on this platform in this community use case. So inqli also works with organizations and enterprises and not-for-profits and education institutions. So there are definitely been other users in private workspaces of inqli, but you are the first community with many different organizations, many different people using the platform in this way. So we are really excited to have you here and know that we are a startup. We are building and growing all the time. So your feedback of things that don't work, things that you don't think are awesome are really helpful, as well as your feedback of things that you think are awesome and things that you're excited about, things you wish existed on the platform. Please share all of that with us. We are actively growing and developing not just the community, but the platform itself. And we want to know what's helpful to you. There are many things on our roadmap that we know are helpful from user and customer interviews so far. But there are many, many more things that you will help support to get live on the platform through your own feedback as community users. So we're really excited to hear from you. Did everybody get through that sort of process? And those of you who want to download inqli for mobile, once you've created your account, you can just go to the Play Store or iOS Apple Store as you so like. And when you're prompted to enter in your workspace, you will use the workspace name Rainforest. Do we need a sec for everybody who wants to download mobile? Do we need to give everybody a minute? Can see
Hold on
talking.
one, Rebecca. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Rebecca? I think you maybe can. Okay, we have both scheduling and AV challenges here, but I think what might be more effective is I'll just really quickly kind of run through a conclusion of where we're at in person, and we'll let you all continue virtually through the activities you had planned. Our apologies, and have a great rest of your hour, virtual folks. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you, Bridget.
Thanks, Bridget.
Is everybody who's live here
And the
either
whole
who
meeting.
wants to be on the
Sign and
platform.
leave.
We get a thumbs up, or I can't see the chat, Amber, so I'll leave that to you to let me know.
I think we're good.
We're good.
I just wanted to say a few things. Looks like the call to action in that email isn't registering rainforest.inqli.com for some reason, so I'm going to troubleshoot that email so it doesn't continue going out like that. But if you search rainforest.inqli.com, you'll be prompted to enter that sign-in flow. So anyone that clicked that link, you can type in on the web rainforest.inqli.com, and it you should find it.
Great. So if you're in your URL, just type in rainforest.inqli.com. Sounds like there was a broken link or something, so we'll fix that. Anybody having any trouble getting in?
Okay, so far.
So far, so good.
I think so.
Okay. So around here, we always say that leaders have all the questions, not all the answers. And so one of the things that we are really asking community members to do is to lead by asking. When you ask a question on the platform, you help everyone move forward. So that is one of the most challenging things for people to do. I think most of us are not brought up, and most of us are not taught in school or otherwise how to ask for help. It's very vulnerable. It's often very difficult, and we often don't even have a great understanding of what we need and why we need it and how to ask for help. So that's a big thing that we focus on around here, which I know is close to the heart of rainforesters as well, is how do we support people to ask for the help that they need? And then, of course, we would ask you to share widely, spread the word. We are happy to share. We have social assets and other content around inqli and the inqli Rainforest Partnership. And we are more than happy to provide you with that content to help you share and spread the word. This community is only as good as the members that are in it. And so we really want to make sure we're reaching out to people whose voices are not yet at the table and who could really benefit from being a part of the community as well, and that we could benefit from them being a part of the community too. So what to ask? So let's talk a little bit about that. These categories are really just starting points, and we created this because we see a lot of questions that kind of fit into these categories. So there's problem solving, tackling complex challenges, communication and collaboration. So getting diverse perspectives from across the community for questions that would really benefit from that. I would argue most questions would really benefit from that. And then, of course, wellness, developing practices to help you feel your best at work and in the community. And career pathing, this is a big one. We see a lot of this. We've got students, we've got career switchers, and people looking for work, people looking for a different kind of work, changing industries. A lot of that going on in Alberta right now. So this is an excellent place to ask those kinds of questions and get diverted to the resources, whether it be mentorship, funding, programming, education, all of that exists within the community. So those are really, we see a lot of those kinds of questions. And then, of course, innovation, learning about where your field is heading and how to grow your craft. Those are all great questions to be asking here. There are a lot of really experienced people in the rainforest that can support that, and as well as people new to the rainforest and new to their careers who have a totally different perspective on their field than maybe someone who's been in the field for 30 or 40 years. So exchanging knowledge in all those directions is really what inqli is for. So this is for us Zoomers, which we only have us Zoomers now. And they'll hopefully they have the slides on the other end and can work through that. But we just want to spend a minute generating a question that relates to the prompt. So these should be real questions that you're actually interested in. Feel free to wander from the prompt. These are totally here to guide you, but not constrain your questioning. So just on your own, we welcome everybody to generate at least one question for each of these prompts. I'll go through these slowly enough for you to do that. But problem solving is a great place to start. Think of a problem, a complex challenge that you're facing or that others around you are facing right now. The question prompt that we start with is, if I could ask an expert for help with a challenging situation I've dealt with over the past month, this is what I'd ask. That's a great place to start, but by all means, don't hesitate to go rogue and do this your own way. But we really welcome you to generate a question. I'll give everybody a minute to kind of think about that, and I'll be quiet for a minute. And feel free to mute us and anyone who has a question live time. You know, this is totally an opportunity to collaborate too, if you have questions about the questioning. Okay, I'm going to go through this one. Everybody good to move on to the next one? And it's totally okay to generate more than one question for each of these, or not for one and many for the others. It's really intended to just sort of get your questioning juices flowing. So the next category, communication and collaboration. So a question that would really benefit from the diverse perspectives across the community. So the question prompt here is something that I'm curious about from a field that I don't work in or don't know about, or maybe that I'm interested in getting into. Those are all great questions as well. So I'll just pause for a minute and let everybody think about that one. I can't see the chat too, Amber, so just yell at me if I need to know something.
I will, for sure.
Thank you, thank you. Just by like show of hands or emojis or high fives or anything, does anybody have a particularly hard time generating any of these questions? Like, is it hard to think of something that you're interested in? If anybody feels comfortable to say so. See if I can see the grid here. Did anybody put up their hand? Did anybody say words? It's so hard to see the whole chat. Nobody's having a hard time. This is so great. This is such a great group of questioners. That always makes me happy because people have a really hard time generating questions in many scenarios. So I'm always excited when that's not the case. So I'm just going to jump to the next one here. Career paths. Get advice about where you're headed and share where you've been in your career. So the question prompt here is, if I could ask future me for advice about having achieved a professional goal, I would want to know. And of course, there are many question prompts here that might be helpful. But in your own career, what would you like advice about? Who would you like advice from? What are you thinking about? I'll be quiet for a minute and let everybody think about that one. I see a raised hand, but I don't know where it's coming from. Jump in, say words to me. Come on camera.
Hey. Yeah, just curious where all these tags are coming from, and is this supposed to be a list that's going to keep growing?
The question list?
The tags, like for your
Oh, the
skills
tags
and
on the
stuff like
platform.
that.
Yes, absolutely. So the tags are user generated on the platform. So absolutely, that list will keep growing. And at some point we will be doing a little bit of cleanup in the list as well. But we really did a lot of testing around, sort of auto generated tags versus user generated tags. So you can absolutely create your own tags there. In the future, there will be a bit of like guardrails around that, the things like, you know, language that isn't necessarily appropriate, those kinds of things will be blocked. They are not yet on the platform today. So if you generate a tag that is a less than appropriate tag, we'll have to like go in and delete it. But of course, in this community, we haven't seen any of that yet. But it is a part of the features that we are developing. But for now, you can absolutely auto-generate your own tags based on your interests and skills.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I'll put one inappropriate one in there just for a test.
Don't test
Yeah,
us.
that's
Don't test us,
joking.
please.
I'm just-
Yeah, that's actually a significantly important feature to have in the near future, simply because we obviously want to include everyone in the community. And what may seem appropriate to one person is not necessarily appropriate to another. And so having a little bit of guardrail around that is a great idea, and certainly on our roadmap. But today it's pretty open. So we're relying on communities, and certainly this particular community, we have not seen any of that. And we're grateful for it, because yeah, we would have to go in and delete that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for asking. It's a great question. Okay, I'm going to just jump forward from this one here. Innovation. So where your field might be headed, or where any field might be headed. So something I want to know about a big topic that will change the world. There's a lot of people working on a lot of things in this innovation community in Alberta, and the rainforest community. So this is a great place to ask those kinds of questions and generate feedback and ideas and perspective from this community. So we've seen some of those questions already, and we'd love to see more. So I'll give you a sec there. Okay, the wellness category. So developing practices. We saw some great questions early on about this as well. A practice that I've considered adding to my day that I'd like to know if anyone else does. I believe there was a question already on the platform about practices around, I can't remember if it was definitely specific to wellness. Like you may find it on the platform, but there's a lot of conversation right now about wellness and sharing practices with each other, and simple and easy ways that we can incorporate more wellness into our lives. And certainly one of the things inqli aims to help solve too is we don't need to develop another platform that you need to be on all day to get value from. So directly matching people to questions that are well suited to them, to the things they're interested in, to the conversations they're having. And then of course, being able to just look through and see what other things that you may or may not know you're interested in that pique your interest. But of course, being able to match people is such a way to cut down on just all of the information overload and all the places we're required to be right now to answer questions and make connections online. We don't want this to be another platform that is all about how much of your attention can we get all of the time. We'd love it if people were on inqli every day, because we think it could be really valuable. But you certainly don't need to be on inqli for hours every day to get the value from it. So how can we cut down on that and have some more digital wellness in our lives too? And the very end here is to discuss and refine. So on your own, take a look at your list of questions and select one question that you think is really interesting, that you most want to ask on inqli. And we had intended to do breakout groups, Bridget, but that would be, or Bridget, sorry, Amber, that would be dependent on your ability to set that up. And so, because this was just for everyone's knowledge, this was going to be facilitated by Harrison today, who's our product manager, who unfortunately has COVID. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants a little bit, and didn't check in with you on this, Amber, as to whether or not we can do breakout groups.
We can do breakout rooms.
Awesome. So this is
Yeah.
a great way to chat about these things. So if we can create some breakout groups and then give everyone an opportunity to share your question and how you came up with it and what was your process like. And the reason for this is exactly what we talked about earlier. It can be really difficult to generate the questions we really want to ask. And then it can also be challenging to just be vulnerable and ask those questions. And it really is an act of leadership to do so. And that's part of what the rainforest and inqli are really trying to foster, as an environment where people feel totally safe to ask those vulnerable questions and gather perspective from their community. So love to break out into a few separate rooms here and chat about that. And if you have time left, you can feel free to use those discussion prompts there too. So yeah, awesome.
All right, I opened up the rooms.
Great. Thank you, Amber. Did you give them 5 minutes in the room? Yeah, okay. Perfecto.
Oh, sorry, I realized I was muted.
I saw your lips moving and you looked like a positive, reinforced face.
Okay, good.
Love it.
Just wanted to make sure there was enough people in the rooms, but yeah, it looks like there is.
Looks pretty good. How many people are here still?
There's 18 people left.
Sorry, 18?
18, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Do you want me to bring them back in like a minute or so?
Muted. Yes, I was muted this time talking to you.
I saw you, but I saw you too. I saw the.
You saw the like positive interaction. Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
I like most about like when I gather with people on Zoom is like breakout rooms where you actually get to talk to people that are on the call.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna close the rooms.
Okay.
The CIC meeting went awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. What a great group of humans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and really good conversation happening there too. Yeah, that'll be exciting to get more of the CIC sharing, because we'll end up with a lot more people interacting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's early days,
I
Amber. We've
always,
got so much fun ahead.
I know, right? I'm excited. I
Me too.
also always love like bringing people back from the breakout rooms because you know they're having a good time because you see like the time nearing to an end and they're not coming back. So you know they're like having good discussions.
Totally. That's my favorite, which is why I love breakout rooms so much, because it's giving people an opportunity to like talk to each other as humans, especially around this
Yeah.
topic. Like, I don't think any of us really give much credit to how hard it is to ask questions.
Yeah, totally.
And for those of us that it's easy to ask questions, it's like, they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's
Yeah.
hard? It's so easy. Remember when you were a 3-year-old? Probably not, but you were probably way
Yeah.
better at asking questions back then.
Asking all the questions.
Asking all the questions. Okay, is everybody back? Do we have everybody back?
Yes, everyone's back.
I don't know about the rest of you, but like my favorite part of gathering on Zoom with people is like going to a breakout room where I actually get to talk to the other humans. Anybody want to share any conversation that you had? Give us a summary of what happened in your room. Nobody? Silence.
Hi, Rebecca.
Everyone's so
Hi.
quiet. Oh, yay.
Somebody's
Hey,
talking to me.
Yeah, my name is Gabriel. So in our breakout room, I didn't know any of the people in the breakout room. So we spent the entire time just going around and introducing ourselves. So we never got to ask the question that we spent
it.
some time thinking about.
That's time well spent.
Yeah,
Getting
it
to know other humans is always a good thing. Did anybody have a chance to talk through their questions or their process asking the questions? Anyone? Okay.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hi.
This is Romel, and in our team, we actually have a different viewpoints on how this app could be used. So some people have raised questions about like sharing their information out there, like it's like you're sharing yourself. But I was like, you know what? If you really answer like if you get a good question or maybe you give a good answer, you can really connect with people like outside of inqli as well. But it's a platform of getting your name known as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you had some interesting conversation about like other uses for inqli or other like value propositions, I guess, for lack of a better description. I would love to hear more of that. So please send me your feedback on that, because yeah, it is inqli is in many ways like some social platforms in some of the ways in which it functions, but very different from other social platforms in ways too. And that's very intentional. And so we're experimenting. That's the joy of innovation, is there's a lot of opportunity here, and being exposed to early users like this. You guys are all early adopters, and all of the humans that are coming to the platform today, that feedback is so valuable. So please do share with us. Don't hesitate to give us positive, negative, all of the feedback, because we really do want to design something different, and a place where people can really openly share knowledge. We're experimenting with things like temporary anonymity and different ways in which we can create trust in a community, but also create psychological safety to ask more vulnerable questions. So that's a fine balance, and something that's not typically done very well in social platforms. So we're really excited about experimenting and working with folks like yourselves to really help refine the product over time.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that feedback.
Rebecca, just a quick note. Where can we find a place to give feedback?
Oh, absolutely. So there is, and Kirsten, maybe you can comment on, because I know there's a few different options and you probably know better than I do.
Yeah, thanks for that comment, Ramel. If you are on the web version of inqli and you go to the sidebar where there's a sign up button, there's 2 links. There's a help center as well as a feedback form. That feedback form, it goes directly towards our internal team. Also, you can always email hello@inqli.com or support@inqli.com, and someone else will happily answer your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I know we're probably getting probably a little bit over time here as well. So, you know, this was very much designed so that there was going to be people in person and people online. So it's just us folks now. So we've kind of gone through that portion of things, but we really do want you to ask those questions. So the last step, and you can do that on or off the call, but if you generated a question that you'd love to see what your community has to say or how they can help. You know, one of the first questions I asked on the platform was about startup funding at the stage that we're at. And we have some amazing funders and supporters in Alberta. But this stage of product development is a real tricky funding stage. And so I got some amazing responses and I had a few investor calls out of it and I got some funding out of it. And it was like, I just asked it on a demo and really as a way to ask a question that was totally relevant to me, just for a demo. And it was incredibly useful. So this is the kind of community you folks are all in, is the kind of community that jumps in and helps. So please do ask those questions. And of course, if you have any trouble with the technology at all, just let us know and we're happy to help. So with that, I know we're over time. So I just thank everyone for making the time and for joining us today and for being vulnerable and thinking about question asking and sharing your questions with others. And I really hope you'll join us on the platform and ask those questions there, but also give us your feedback and tell us what you'd love to see that you don't see and give us any feedback you have. We're very, very open to it. We want to design a product that really helps people. So if there's ways in which you think we can help you more, please let us know.
Actually, it's a really great that you ask, and I really appreciate the demo, because there's just like, it gives me so many other ideas of interesting things. Yeah, it's very pleasant to look at. Like I find that, you know, because it actually looks like it's something that you actually want to sign into, not, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, no, thank you very much. I'm going to go back over our video today and just kind of get a little bit more used to using it, and definitely look forward to seeing everybody else on there too.
Thank you so much for that, Ellen. And there is a video in the app itself that does a little bit of a demo. So please watch that too. If that's quicker, it's only like 5 minutes. But super appreciate that. V, did you have a question too? And anyone who has to drop, please feel free. I know we're over time, but I'm happy to stick on if anybody has any more questions or thoughts.
Yeah, I got a question. I just like to know a little bit more maybe about the rainforest partnership. And when I'm asking questions, is this just to the rainforest group, or is this like anyone on inqli?
Yeah, so this is a partnership between Rainforest and inqli. So it's a private workspace for the rainforest. However, the rainforest is looking to include not just existing members, but new members. And so there's a partnership also with the Calgary Innovation Coalition. So we just presented to them literally 5 minutes before this call with all the Calgary Innovation Coalition membership. So there's going to be more and more people. You guys are very early in this process, or you folks are very early. I have to mind my language. The word guys is not good anymore. So I apologize for that. It's such an ingrained thing for me. So that is an incredibly valuable question, because this is the intention of this. This is very early, and you are part of the very early pilot. And so the more and more people whose voices are not yet at the table, people and groups that should be involved that are not yet, we welcome those invitations. You know, students, founders, funders, investors, everyone in the community is welcome and included here. So while Rainforest in and of itself is a community with over 3,000 members, we're looking to include more and more people in that conversation. So please do invite others. And that's why there is a little bit of a process to get in. We're encouraging people to sign the social contract, which, as far as I'm concerned, the contract just says, you know, I promise to be a good human here and be kind to others. It's a pretty low bar of a contract to sign, in my opinion. And so that is really one of the only sort of barriers, is going through the process of being approved by Rainforest and then getting the invitation to join the community. I see more questions. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
David
thanks.
or Alan, who put up their hand first, but I'll let you self-navigate that.
Go ahead, Dave.
So are you anticipating making it available as a service to companies? Like,
Yes,
can a company buy a
absolutely.
private space?
Yes, thank you for asking. Absolutely. And in fact, inqli was originally designed for skills-based volunteerism for corporations. And so we're working with TELUS, we're working with other organizations designing pilots to connect employees and enterprises to their external stakeholder partnerships with education and not-for-profits. So that's why inqli was designed the way that it was. And then this other use case became very obvious in innovation communities. But we actually have Calgary-based engineering firm Intuitive is also one of our early organization users. So inqli is very much designed for that internal knowledge sharing across large organizations as well. So anywhere from 3 to 4 to 500 employees and up, this knowledge sharing problem becomes very, very real, and including new and junior employees and senior leadership and external stakeholders in many cases is really important. So thank you for asking that question, because that our platform is very much designed to solve a lot of these challenges around how we share knowledge in communities, whether they're professional communities in our organization or a larger, broader community like the innovation ecosystem here in Alberta. Does that answer your question, David? Yeah, absolutely. And we are looking actively for companies that want to pilot and explore the use of inqli as well. So feel free to dig in and ask more questions, send us a message. You can find me directly on LinkedIn, but you can also send a message to rebecca@inqli.com or to hello@inqli.com as well. Alan, you had a question too.
Yeah. So is there, like, do you guys also sort of monitor like the conversations and things like that within? Because I know I was just, one of the things that I've experienced on in other places, well, mostly through like LinkedIn and stuff like that, is a lot of people selling things to me. And unfortunately, that's just not really what I'm looking for.
Right.
But yeah.
None of us are looking for that, Alan. So
No.
I think that is very much the way that inqli was designed. Is there is no advertising. The business model is not based on advertising. We have approved partners. For example, Rainforest, the CIC, other member partners can share content on the platform once they are approved to do so. And this is not advertising. This is free community events, programming, grants, scholarships, education, jobs, you know, all the things that people are actually interested in learning about in the community, but then we're matching those things to the appropriate users. So that is sort of the next stage of our technology, is the development to be able to actually match people to opportunities, not just to people. So we're not there yet, but that is next on the roadmap, is through these partnerships, is the ability to say, you know, based on your questions and your profile, this early stage funding might be appropriate for you. This program might be appropriate for you, and actually matching people to that content that is not advertising, is just actual content put out by the community for the community, for opportunities that are available to everyone. One of the critical problems we're trying to solve is navigating this, and Alberta is better and worse than most in the sense that you have so much opportunity in this province and so many programs and so much funding and, you know, all these really great opportunities. And how does someone navigate that? I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of people in this community, and I've had one person bounce to the next and made my way through the community and accessed a lot of resources, but that's not everyone's story. And so how do we make this more accessible to more people?
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
So lots of development coming. The product is new, and there's a lot more to come, and we welcome your feedback every step of the way. So we're super grateful that you're here early and joining us, and please do be a part of the development, because that's the point. We want to serve this community, which will ultimately serve all the communities we serve. So hearing from you is really helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time. Everyone's got a lot going on, so we appreciate that you were here to join us, and we hope you'll ask questions and reply to questions and yeah, inform the development of the product. We're all in this together. We're all members of the ecosystem, right? And I am too, as a founder. So it's really exciting to be here with y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Thanks everybody for hanging out past time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We'll see y'all soon.
I
and reach out
also
anytime. Sorry, go ahead, Amber.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, I just want to say for anyone that's on the call, we're having a holiday party next week, next Wednesday, so there won't be a lunch without lunch next Wednesday. But come and join us for a beverage in person at Two House Brewing Company at 3. And yeah, come hang out and kick off the end of the year.
Awesome.
I
wish I
put
was
the
there
link in the
with you.
chat and I'll put it on. I know, right? We're gonna have to like put you on like Zoom
getting
or
on the
like down
plane.
on our iPhone. Yeah, do it.
We'll see you soon. We'll be back in Calgary in January, so we'll see y'all then.
Perfect. We'll have to do another in-person get-together party.
For sure. For sure. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.